Very nice.
It is.
I've been working on one right here
Yeah.
for a while.
You think you're better than me. You're not. I'm working harder, I promise you. Welcome back to the Art of Podcast. Today we have Jennifer Crockett. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself?
About yourself, about your job title. What do you do? What makes you you?
I kind of have a short attention span, so I have a lot of all over the place skills. I have a degree in mortuary science. I've taken welding classes, I've taken pottery classes, I've taken a lot of art classes, lots of psychology classes.
Wow, you're an artist by many degrees. Tell us what we're learning about today, though.
Okay, so one of the coolest parts of mortuary science was the sculpting part. This is fixing like accidents that people had, and if they need some kind of reconstruction, we can do that with beeswax and makeup.
And you did this as a job? Have you ever worked in like a funeral home? What does this look like?
I did work in a funeral home for a couple of years. This unfortunately is pretty time consuming, so it's expensive. Most people, rather than pay for it, would rather just have a closed casket if the damage is extensive. But my company did work on a man that was, I think he was the mayor or something like that, and he had fallen on some rocks and laid there for a while, and so he had like divots in his cheek, and they smoothed out his cheek and made it look like just like him.
Wow, that's really interesting. So I think the burning question that comes to mind before anything else is, how do you get into a niche like this one?
Oh my gosh. Me personally, it started when I was little. My dad is the youngest of 11 kids. And we went to funerals all the time. We just went to funerals all the time. He had a bunch of older sisters and brothers, and I would always go to funerals with him. I just liked going to funerals. I love that you see...
Really?
I love them. I love the music. I love the camaraderie. I love that people are so happy to see each other.
I love that.
And get together. I mean, even though it's this sometimes tragic event, most of the time it was expected. They were old.
Part of life.
And it's just part of life. And so I loved the reunions of funerals. And I love that everybody contributes. Nobody's expecting anything. Everybody's giving and supporting and loving each other. And I just went to a lot of funerals with my dad. And so as I was going to school, I was in psychology. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a therapist. I took a psychology class called Death and Dying.
Really? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was just mostly about grieving and the dying process. You know, sometimes it's real quick, sometimes it's real slow. It's always some sort of trauma for the people around, and so it was mostly a grief kind of counseling kind of class. And as part of the class, we went to a funeral home, and we toured the funeral home. We went downstairs and we saw the mortuary part, and we went to the cemeteries, and I loved every part of it. I loved it so much. It spoke to me. So I changed my degree from psychology to mortuary science.
Oh my goodness, that is wild.
Yeah.
So other than this, because I can really understand the whole camaraderie, seeing people come together, even celebration of life as it happens to be coming together for someone's death. But tell me a little bit more about the sides that might deter someone from this mortuary science field. And what about that were you able to look past or maybe even enjoy?
So there's the obvious kind of spooky, kind of gross, kind of scary kind of things. Um, like I said, I'm basically a teenage boy in my brain sometimes. And so I never got grossed out by even like when the kids were cut and bleeding or anything. Nothing like that ever really grossed me out. I used to watch, I like loved biology class when we did, what's it called when you take it all apart? I want to say autopsy, but it's not an autopsy.
Yeah, of course, when you like slice the...
Dissection. You know, when we dissected the frogs, all the girls in my group are like, it's so gross. And I'm like, that's so cool. And so that part never freaked me out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you were just pulled to this.
I really was, yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
So I haven't worked in the field for 15 years because we got kids and you can't juggle.
Sure.
Such an involved job and children very well. I can't, anyways. Other people can.
Well, tell us about what you brought, and you can feel free to work on it while I'm working on my piece, and what you're doing. What's the purpose? How are you doing it?
Okay, so one of the classes was restorative art, and we were instructed to make a face. And we started with, let me pull this guy out.
So did you make this all
this.
Yourself?
All by myself.
Wow, that's incredible.
From my brain.
That is incredible.
This is what we start with.
Wow.
Because basically, all faces are essentially the same. Oh, there we go. Essentially, all faces are the same. You have a general location for eye sockets, nose, mouth. And so this basic form is like the base for everything else. Like if you have larger cheeks, you just add more wax here. And if your eyes are closer together, there's enough space here that you can start putting beeswax. This is made out of beeswax because it survives very well underground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And through the funeral and all that, it doesn't melt very easily. So, and it stays true to its form. This one has cracked over the years, but this I made like 17 years ago.
Okay.
And you can still see all the details, all the wrinkles.
Yeah, that is incredible for 17 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Out of just wax. Yeah. So I'm going to repair him today.
And what are some of the tools you're using and materials?
So this is beeswax. The hair was just out of a wig. These are just normal. Get my water out of the way. These are just normal sculpting kind of tools. And you use your hands a lot because that's just the easiest way to get the basic shape. And this is what the clay looks like. The beeswax looks like.
And do you just use pigments to dye that beeswax?
I have a whole set of makeup here.
Oh.
And when your loved one dies, it's kind of, it makes it a little bit easier if your female loved one dies. If you just bring her regular makeup case. But this one is, whoops. This one is the one that we use in the funeral home. And it has different pigments and dyes and it's mostly for the men because you want them to look natural.
Sure.
And they don't have their own makeup cases, so.
Yeah, that is so interesting. I feel like, I mean, it's something so normal and a part of life, but never something that you would think about while you're inside that field. On that topic, can you tell me something that we might be surprised to hear in your field?
In my experience?
In your experience.
Surprised to hear.
Maybe a story, maybe a technique you need to use. Yeah, what's something that would surprise us?
I think people might be surprised to know that the people that have passed on, they kind of hang around their bodies for a while.
How do you mean?
Like pretty much every mortuary that I've ever been to is definitely haunted.
Whoa, hot take. How do you mean?
They're there. I totally believe in the afterlife, and people's spirits stay there with their bodies until they are buried, I believe.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Can you give me examples?
Okay.
Maybe?
I'll
I wasn't sure if I needed to ask. Or...
You can just feel people next to their bodies. I personally. Some people don't, and think then some of the people that I worked with thought I was crazy when I told them some of my stories. But I can feel people that are there. Specifically, one woman was there, and she was probably in her 70s, beautiful hair, perfectly coiffed. They give us a photograph. This is what your person is supposed to look like in the casket. This is what they want it to look like. So they give us a photograph so that we get the makeup right and their hair right. And I was sitting there doing her hair, putting on her makeup, and I could just feel her over my shoulder right here. She was like looking, making sure that I was doing it right.
Really?
Yeah, she was very concerned that she was going to look good in her casket.
Is that like a presence that you feel?
She was very much there. Yeah, I could feel her there. And I could feel her anxiety there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to other people in your field about this? Is it like a general thing?
It's very common for funeral directors.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
It's very common.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here doing her hair and doing her makeup, and she's just like over my shoulders, just kind of breathing down my neck. And I stopped and I turned around and I said, "Please just back up off me just a little bit." And she did. And then I couldn't feel her right there anymore. She was still there. She was still worried, but she like backed off a little bit so that I couldn't feel her.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah. And then in the end, I kind of asked her, "Okay, is that good?" And she kind of, the spirit in the room was kind of happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
How interesting. You've been drawn to it initially. What kept you in? What kept you going, interested? Was there maybe a certain time that you can think of, or was it something in each moment that kept you going back?
My favorite part is the burials themselves over at the cemetery. I don't mind dressing people. I like doing their makeup and their hair. I've done embalmings. It's not my favorite, but I can do it. Mm-hmm. But my favorite is the smaller, more intimate group at this cemetery, because usually only the family goes to the cemetery for the most part. And I like that part where it's more casual. There's not a lot of, talks and and kids get to run around a little bit and be a little more silly, and it's not quite as stuffy. And everybody's there supporting each other. I love that part of the cemetery.
Love that.
Because it's so painful
to come together.
That's
so important.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that. Yeah, I think that is one of those things that can just keep you going day after day. So I'll ask the opposite question. Do you have maybe a horror story or something that made you want to quit, or again, like a constant stream of things that you just always ran into that was really difficult?
Families are really sad. Families are sometimes really mean to each other. And you would think at this time you could come together and just do what's best for your loved one that's passed on. But sometimes families are just mean. And that's sad. But for the most part, most people are trying to be kind at least.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what you're working on right now.
Well, over time, the beeswax has dried out quite a bit and fallen apart. And obviously, I don't have any work-related reason to have this guy, but Halloween's one of my favorite holidays, and so he comes out on Halloween.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't get him out this Halloween because he'd started to crack, and I didn't have the wax to fix him. So, so I'm fixing him.
That's so funny. Well, I feel like I cut you off earlier. Can you tell me just kind of how you were raised and just a little bit more about your background so we can kind of get an idea as to who you are?
Who I am?
Yes.
I was raised by my two parents. I have one sister and three brothers. And we all really like each other. We don't talk very much, but we always like getting together. And we're just not talking on the phone kind of people, I guess. But we have a great time when we get together. There were 5 of us in 8 years. Mom had 5 babies in 8 years.
Wow.
So we're all close in age and had a great time. I was a tomboy kind of growing up. I guess I'm still kind of a tomboy. Played in the dirt. My favorite toys were Tonka trucks. And playing with my brothers and my sister. My parents were very religious. And as a result, I'm very religious. And so I kind of feel like I definitely felt spiritually drawn to this.
I think something interesting about you that I know is you have 10 children. And I want to bring that up because maybe it does, maybe it doesn't have something to do with, you know, this field that you're in and just maybe your value of life, how you hold it near and dear to you. I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know why we have 10 kids. When we had our first, it was an awful delivery. And Bert, my husband, looked at me and he said, "You don't ever have to do that again. One's good. We can be done." And I'm like, "You're right. One's good. I'm not doing that again." And then like 9 months later, I'm like, I need a baby. And so it just happened over time where I just started missing them in my heart. And so we just ended up with 10 kids because there were little empty spaces in my heart that needed to be filled.
So I'm kind of getting this sense, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe the veil is a little thin with you. Like you're able to feel things beyond the veil, whether it's people who you're, working on for their funeral or children that you haven't had. Can you tell me a little bit about that, if that's at all relevant?
I've never actually thought of it that way before. That's an interesting thought. Maybe.
Other people in your field, you've mentioned that people have felt the same way you felt with these spirits in the room. Have you spoken to them at all about this? Is it something that's like 100% you've met everybody and they all agree on this topic? Are there outliers?
Definitely not. There are definitely people that are like, it's all in your head. You have you're crazy.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And how,
And
I mean,
they work in the field. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's what I was curious is how does that affect their practice? Do you know?
Honestly, the people that I've known that were like that were in the field, I feel like were less compassionate
Really?
funeral directors.
Really? Tell me a little bit
They're
about
kind
that.
of more like, I don't know. Yeah, just less compassionate, less likely to do the extra thing to make the family comfortable or go to the extra effort to do something special or make them feel better, or they're just less emotionally involved, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so this is a question I'm always curious about. I've given a little background, and I'll just say, every artist in their respective field, whether you're a doctor or a lawyer or a marketer or a painter, everyone's able to look at something in their respective field. For me, it would be a painting. And instead of just looking at the painting, I often find myself immediately trying to figure out the techniques, noticing certain techniques, noticing certain color theory, noticing certain things that maybe someone with the untrained eye wouldn't think about when they look at a painting. Tell me, what is it in your experience that you would look at and notice or even think about that I wouldn't?
Oh, this is so judgy of me. But any funeral I go to now, I judge.
Really? That is honestly crazy.
I judge how well the embalmer did.
Wow.
No, and I'm not a good embalmer. I'm not saying that I am.
Sure.
But I can tell when a body's really well embalmed and when they're not. And it just really bothers me when people don't do the extra little things,
What are those extra little things? What are you noticing?
For example, I was helping the family of a friend who passed away, and she did not go to the funeral home. Her husband did not take her body to the funeral home that I worked at, which is fine. But they did ask me to come and do her hair and her makeup because I knew what she looked like every day. And so they were thrilled to have me come and do her hair and makeup. Is one thing that they didn't have to do, and that kind of seemed like the theme of this particular funeral home was, if you don't have to do it, don't do it. So you might have to edit this out. When you're embalming, you go through the blood veins that are right here in your neck. And it goes down your body, and then it comes back around, and it comes back up here, and the fluids start coming back out the opposite incision where we cut the artery right here. So it's a long ways to go all the way through your body.
Right.
So if you're doing it really good, you take the cannula, which is the little kind of funnel thing. You take it out and you turn it the other way and you push it up the out way, so that the embalming fluids go around the top of the head, because a lot of times it won't come to this left side, especially if they've had like heart attacks or they have blocked veins or if there's any kind of damage in them. So there wasn't any reason they shouldn't have done that to this woman, but they didn't. And so I'm putting on her makeup. Her hair looks fabulous. I'm putting on her makeup, and you're supposed to feel kind of like this, like stiff.
Okay.
And her eyeball was rolling around in her head while I was trying to make this side match this side with her makeup. Oh
my gosh.
This was so easy because it was like painting on a canvas.
Oh
and
my gosh.
This was like painting on crepes in a bowl.
I'm sick. That's crazy.
It made me so mad, but it was too late to say anything, and so.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't say anything about it because I'm sure they did the best that they could, but they skipped that step, and I think that's an important step.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually wild. And to have it be someone you know personally has got to be like freaky, or no?
No, not really. It's just kind of. Not for me, anyways. It's just kind of an act of service that I would do for people that I love. I have some standing, clients that are like, okay, I know you don't do it anymore, but when I die, you're coming and you're doing me. And so they want me to come and help get them ready. Which I can't do the embalming and that kind of stuff anymore because I'm not licensed anymore because it's been so long. But I can still come and do their hair and makeup and make sure that they're dressed proper.
That really is sweet, yeah.
Yeah. I have like 4 friends that are like, I already put it in my will. Jennifer's coming to do my hair and makeup. It's kind of sweet.
I just had this thought come to mind. Again, I feel like this is something that I just don't know a single thing about. So if you ever think of something interesting, feel free to share it. But something I'm wondering is if it's, a friend, if you have a personal relationship with the individual that you are working on, do you ever, this might just be a crazy question, do you ever have conversations with them?
Oh, yeah.
Yes?
Oh, heck yeah.
Really? Okay, I was like, I don't even know, but I feel like that would be
all
neat.
the time.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that like? Just reminiscing on old memories, or is it just acquaintances, or do you do that with strangers?
Oh, I did it with strangers too.
Really? Walk me through that.
Oh, if they're being too difficult getting into their clothes, I'm like, could you please cooperate with me? Just
Jennifer, I just don't know.
But I do that. I mean, I also personify my car, and I talk to inanimate objects, and that includes dead people. So
wow, that's beautiful. I love that. Can you give me an interesting fact that you think would surprise me?
An interesting fact that I think would surprise you.
Yes.
Most people, even in the United States, are not embalmed and buried anymore. It used to be like the norm, but most people, at least where I was working, are choosing to be cremated instead.
Why do you think that is? Just cost?
I think cost is a factor. I also think that people aren't having as big of families as they used to. And so when I worked in a crematory, it was not uncommon for us to get a person in from a retirement facility or hospice or something like that that had no family.
Really?
They had no family.
Wow.
Like zero family. Like their spouse had died, they never had any children, they had no siblings.
Wow.
People just aren't having as big of families as they used to anymore. And so we had a closet that was probably as big as this wall that was full of cremated remains that nobody ever picked up.
Really?
Really. Yeah. And so we would scatter them in the wind, and then we would write down in our log where we had scattered the ashes, but nobody ever came to ask.
Wow.
Yeah. It's shocking how many people die 100% alone.
Wow. I think I've had that thought maybe once or twice, and what happens with people like that, especially, I mean, it's weird to say I grew up in homes, but I really did. I was in nursing homes all the time growing up. And that thought would cross my mind. Some of these people, just you never saw their families come in, you never heard anybody visiting, and then one day you just wouldn't see them anymore.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, but I don't know, is it terrible to say that's kind of beautiful in its own way? I mean, like, all things considered, you know, it's not just we get rid of them. You still have your own scattering them in certain places and logging them in case somebody comes. There's still just respect. And that's kind of what your job's all about, from what it sounds like. It's just really treating human life with decency no matter what.
Yeah.
I like that.
So since I'm sitting here doing makeup, we tried really hard to fulfill families' wishes. And they would give us, every person that goes in there while they're being embalmed, we shave their face, because like men always have a little scruff from being in the hospital or whatever, and women always have a little peach fuzz, and it shows through the makeup. The peach fuzz shows through the makeup. And so we routinely shave both men and women's faces. It's just better for the makeup. So we did this woman, lovely woman, all this thick black hair, these great eyelashes, you know, big dark eyebrows. And she looked amazing. She looked so beautiful. She looked like really peaceful and just like asleep. That. I mean, kind of what you're going for is she's just asleep. Her grandkids were so upset because we had shaved off Granny's mustache.
Oh,
they were used to Grandma. They were used to Grandma having a mustache, and the adults were like, "But she looks so pretty and she looks so peaceful." And they're like, "No, she doesn't look like Grandma. Where's Grandma's mustache? We love Grandma's mustache."
That's insane.
So the grandchildren were unhappy with it, but her own children were like, "It's fine. Don't worry about it. She looks great."
That's hilarious.
But the kids were just used to Grandma having a mustache.
Oh, I actually love thinking about things like that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about maybe the more, I don't want to say mundane side, but the side that we think about when we think about your job, like cremations. What is that like?
Okay.
How do you even go about that? Are you just...
I did cremations for at least 6 months while I was working there. They're my least favorite thing to do. It's just boring. It's so boring. Because you have to sit there and you have to wait and you have to, watch, and it takes hours.
Can you walk me through, like, beginning to end, what it looks like?
So people are usually in a cardboard box because that burns the easiest and it costs the least. You don't want to be burning up a, $7,000-8,000 casket. So they're usually in a cardboard box. They can be dressed in their regular funeral clothes, or they can be buck naked, or whatever you want. They can, whatever they wanted. We have to do things like make sure that there's no pacemakers, because that can blow up the retort. Retort is the the box that they put them in to do. Not the box, the machine.
Sure.
So we have to make sure they don't have a pacemaker. We put them in, usually we do 2 or 3 a day because it takes a few hours. And it depends on the size of the person. If they're very small, they go faster. And if they're larger, you have to do them, start cooler and then warm up. So,
I heard, I don't actually remember where I heard this, but it was like can we talk about this? I guess this is the whole point. That you take out their bones and it's only the bones that are the ashes. Am I just totally off with that? Is it their whole body in this cardboard box and you put it into that machine? Or...
So we don't take anything out except for like the pacemaker.
Okay.
We put a whole body in there and it burns all the flesh, all the hair, all the blood, all of that goes away. And the bones turn to ash. That's the ash. Okay. So like there's no skin ash, there's no eyeball ash.
Right.
It's all bones.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's all that's left is the ash from the bones.
Okay. And you just have to sit there and wait outside until it's finished?
Yeah, there's like one room that has the machine in it. And then there's a room like outside of that room where you can close the door because it does get very hot in there. And you just have to sit there and twiddle your thumbs and wait for it to finish.
How long does that usually take?
It depends on the person, the size of the person. A very large, heavy person can take 4-5 hours because you have to start them in the very beginning when it's cooler and it takes longer to heat up the machine. But like a small little old tiny granny it should take less than 2 hours. So
wow.
And so usually they have a window in there and you can see the progress. I do want to tell you about the coolest cremation we've ever had.
Tell me.
We did a cremation for, like I said, you can be dressed in whatever you want or you can be buck naked if you want. We did a cremation for an Indian man. He was decked out. The whole casket he had like flowers just covering him. He was in like the nicest suit with all this brocade and lace and stuff. And he had fancy pillow under his head. He had a great blanket over him, just covered in flowers.
Where was this? Where were you?
This was here in Mesa.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was the coolest because they took like a half an hour. It didn't take very long, but they did blessings and they did prayers and they did songs and it was a beautiful thing. It was a really beautiful thing. That was my favorite one.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was really great.
Have you noticed that like with different cultures, maybe they do different things for their ceremonies or how they like the body prepared?
Yes, they do. All religions have their own special things.
Really? Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, as you know, the LDS religion, we have our temple clothes, our covenant priesthood clothes. Jewish families have their own ceremonies, their own prayers, their own clothing that they wear as well. I'm not sure the religion of this specific man, but it was involved. And we catered to all of that, whatever you wanted to do with your family. We were just fine with that. So who is this that you're painting?
This is a painting all about life and death. And honestly, I would like to get your thoughts. Recently I've been working through just the idea of diseases and what it means for relationships and how it changes people, especially diseases that affect a person physically. And so I've just been kind of interested on how we change our view of a person as they deteriorate through age and disease and the fragility of life, and how, well, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but how that affects our view on them as a person. This is my mom's mom, and this is a photo. It's from a reference photo that my grandpa took of her when she was around my age. And I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I remember when I first saw the photo, I thought she looked so young and so beautiful in this picture. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I thought she looked so beautiful. And as I've been painting it, I've only been thinking about this as I've been painting it, is I never met this woman. My grandma was in my life for many years. She didn't pass away until I was 16 or 17 years old. And she was she just loved us. She was very active in our lives and just the capacity that she could be. But she died from a disease called Huntington's.
Okay.
And it's a disease that's kind of a mix of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and it causes your body to just break down really fast. It's a neurological disease, and it ups your metabolism. So the combination of not being able to keep on any weight plus always bumping into things makes you really bruised. You lose your teeth. It's like nicknamed the zombie disease because you look like a zombie. So
wow.
That's the grandmother that I knew growing up, was this zombie body with,
Old
obviously
and tired.
a lot of love in her heart.
Right.
Not old, not tired, never moved, never stops moving. Very jerky, it's hard to describe if you haven't been around it.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'm not familiar with it at all.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a rare condition. And I just look at this photo of my grandmother, and there are certain things that I recognize in her. Well, I don't know, but I think I recognize my sister in there, and I recognize my mother more than I actually recognize my grandmother that I knew.
Okay.
And that's really interesting to me. Just thinking that I did know this woman. She was present in my life, but I never knew that woman. Anyway, that's me talking about this piece a little bit. Maybe I can get your thoughts on the fragility of life and maybe people's views and relationships and how they change through death. And do you have any experience of that in your field, in your personal life? What does that look like through your eyes?
So we never had any family members say, I wish that Dad made more money, or I wish that we had better stuff. We always heard people say, I wish that we had spent more time together. I wish that we knew each other better. And life really is fragile. It can be. I helped with funerals of people that were over 100 years old, and I helped with funerals of 8-year-olds, and you really only have today. And so don't live like you have time, because you might not. Live the life that you want to be living. Do the things that you want to do, you know. Especially do the things that you want to do with your family. And I also think that we're always evolving. Like you said, you didn't ever know this woman. And when you have children, your children will only know a certain part of you. And that's okay. We all evolve and we all change. And that's part of being here in this life and figuring out what's important to us. We all change. That's the only real constant, is that we always change. Things always change is the only constant. It was a detriment that I cry at everything.
I like it. It's going to make good content. I think the only bad thing is it's going to look like I'm insensitive while I'm painting while you're crying. Got my back turned like, go ahead.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was not good at funerals, is keeping a stoic face. If when
Really?
things would touch me, I would have tears going down my face.
Really?
So not professional.
You must have been really close with him.
Yeah,
I was there in his last few moments.
I did her hair. We were so close. Yeah.
I think that's really sweet.
Yeah, I mean, don't feel bad about not knowing her then. Because the person that she was, when you knew her, was the person that you needed to know.
Do you really believe that? Or is that just nice to say?
No, I think people come in and out of our lives to teach us specific things. And we have them in our lives for specific time periods when we need them. And there are things that we need to learn from specific people. I don't think any of this is a big accident. I think you go to families so that you can develop the most Christ-like attributes. I feel like you run into people not by coincidence. Things are designed to teach us how to best live our lives.
I like that. How far along are you?
Well, his face went back together pretty good. I'm surprised his hand didn't crack.
That hand is incredible.
Yeah, my teacher said a swear word when he saw my when he saw my head.
That's pretty good.
And then I finished pretty early because he just, I don't know. It just happened, and he just, I don't know. It worked really good, and I had some extra time, and so I made the hand, and then he said another swear word. So.
Dang.
And then I never got to use it once while I was working in the funeral home. So.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, do you have to like construct limbs?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. But like I said, it's time consuming, and so it costs a lot of money. Most people aren't willing to do it. I went to one really great funeral before I was in the business of a serviceman who had stepped on an IED. IED? Yeah, who'd stepped on an IED. He was in full dress uniform. They did do some reconstruction on his face, but fortunately most of his damage wasn't there. He looked amazing. He looked so good. And he had, I don't know the extent of the damage, but they had put on his white dress gloves and covered up everything that they could. You couldn't tell.
Really?
He looked amazing. He looked so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm sure that was involved.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing that that's an option.
Yeah, it is, especially under circumstances like that where he died in the service.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in today. Thank you for telling us about your job. I think this is such an interesting one. I feel like I've learned so much.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Thanks.
Whose boobs are those?
His boobs?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
She's just modeling class or something?
I told Will I measure everyone's maturity who comes into my art room by whether or not they comment on the boobs in my closet.
Oh. I don't think I'm known for being mature, so.
I'm just joking around, but I do say that.
It goes in at the end.
Oh, except I'm 56 now. Weird.
She's still a teenage though.
Still-
Teenage boy.
Still a stupid boy in my
Some
head.
things never change.